Привit, Mindvalley. That means hello in Ukrainian. I'm Vidette Mayer, and this is my video submission for the Learning Experience Director for Mindvalley. Today, I'm going to take you on a learning experience by directing you through a personal journey of transformation that took me from being just an average mind to one run by the code of an extraordinary mind. That very journey will explain how I'm in this obscure little town in a country greatly distanced from the average American mind, and how it took the code of the extraordinary mind to end up so close to Estonia I can almost smell the salt in the air. But first, allow me to explain why I think my mind is ready for Mindvalley. I've spent the last decade studying the mind, human behavior and sciences, working with hundreds of clients through the modality of quantum hypnotherapy, and facilitating workshops, online courses, and speaking about the mind and the different levels of emotional intelligence. I am bold enough to say that I have mastered the science of the mind and how it becomes extraordinary when it integrates seamlessly with our heart mind and our spiritual mind, and to create an integrated and whole life. So let's get started on how my own personal journey has set me up to be the mind necessary to successfully step into the Learning Experience Director for Mindvalley. The first step of the Code of the Extraordinary Mind is transcending the culturescape. From an early age, our culturescape in the U.S. sets us up to learn that the expression of a successful life follows a template that looks something like go to college, get a good job, meet the spouse, have the kids, buy the house and the cars, and you'll live happily ever after. As a rule follower, I followed the template. I was a high-level competitive gymnast all through middle and high school, traveling the world competing for the U.S. I came from a blue-collar family that taught us to work hard for 40 years, get the pension, and you'll be set for life. Yet my family was creatively starved, perceptually stuck in one place for most of their lives, and judged anyone who walked even one step outside of what they knew life to be. As I traveled and experienced life as a teenager, I saw new perspectives that opened me up to more possibilities, but I learned to stay quiet and not express anything that challenged what most in my family already knew life to be. Number 2 of the Code of the Extraordinary Mind, question the rules. As I ventured to college, then into my professional career in corporate America, I achieved the outward material success. I was married and had 2 beautiful children, and yet it was all so exhausting. Eventually, life crumbled, my 14-year marriage ended, and I came to realize it was because it had been built on a faulty American dream template that focused on the outer at the expense of the often ignored rule that our intuitive, creative inner world takes a backseat to the illogical achievements of the outer world. Practice conscious engineering. Because I left a successful career, money was limited. I invested in hypnotherapy school to learn about the mind and reprogramming my own mind. I invested in learning healing modalities that I could use to heal myself and my own soul. I invested time in classes and retreats focusing on spirituality and consciousness. I invested in things that not only healed me, but also gave me an avenue I became passionate enough about to start and build a business around. My growth helped me to take an honest look at my own life and decide what I wanted to keep and what I wanted to let go of. Unfortunately, most of it had to be let go of, as I found that majority of my life did not serve my inner world. Number 4, rewrite your models of reality. After navigating divorce, I found myself a single mom living in a new city at rock bottom and having to rebuild completely. I went back to corporate America after being out of it for 8 years and was quickly reminded of how unaligned it was to my upgraded self. While working that job, I continued to work on myself, built my hypnotherapy practice, facilitated workshops and programs on consciousness and emotional intelligence, which is where much of my experience comes from that fits the role of the Learning Experience Director. I gave my heart and soul to being a mother. I still had a vision for my life and would sit many nights with my boys dreaming of travels we would have and even searching up places in the world we would go. And when we could, we were going to set out on our new adventure. Number 5, upgrade your systems for living. During this time, I concentrated on my own spiritual growth. I journaled, meditated, made myself paint and write to keep my creative expression while my soul was being sucked dry by my corporate job. I envisioned the home I wanted to live in with my boys and kept intentional post-it notes all over the house to remind me that there was a greater vision, even though I was still in the process of growing. Number 6, bend reality. When I met my now husband, I finally understood the soulmate connection. I watched as our intentions came together and we manifested our relationship, our dream home, our adventurous side, and our blended family came into a healthy version of the American dream rather quickly. Together, I saw how we were able to bend reality and manifest what we wanted, and quickly. To the culturescape mind, we moved our relationship too quickly. To an extraordinary mind, we understood the laws of attraction and trusted our ability to bend reality. Therefore, life went into fast-forward motion. Number 7, live in discipline. Although we had reached our dream of a healthy household, in the neighborhood we wanted, had the vintage camper we loved to adventure in, and had all the things the American dream was supposed to deliver, keeping it all up was not bliss and still required more of our time and energy than we were both willing to give. We had previously experienced where this life led, and we weren't willing to watch our new life crumble. So we devoted ourselves to choosing the process of alchemy of transforming into a life of discipline. We chose to dissolve everything we had created together in such a short time to rebuild the life we wanted together. Rather than settle for good, we decided to go for unimaginable. Number 8, create a vision for your future. Even though we were not financially secure, we decided to risk it all to have the work and life we desired for our family. Rather than working soul-sucking corporate jobs, we both quit to build our own businesses. Rather than talk about all the places we wanted to take our boys in the world, we decided to go after it and trust our souls to lead the way, our codes, our extraordinary minds, to the life that we were meant to live. And this is where we learn that the soul will take you to where you least expect it. Number 9, and one of my favorites, be unfuckwithable. Just about 1 year ago, we started the dissolution of our truly sacred American dream life. We told our friends, family, and even the ex-husband that we were selling everything to move to Europe so we could travel with our family and live the dream of living abroad. We lived the messy truths of transformation when most of our friends and family questioned us. I was called an unfit mother, unstable, and irresponsible by those that once supported my dreams of living abroad. The kids I had once shared these dreams with were no longer interested and wanting the same thing, and decided they would rather live the templated life than go for the unknowns of our dream life. Everything I had ever feared has had to be faced this past year. I have been faced with losing my daily role as a mother, losing friends and family who don't understand our choices to give up what we had, and we faced all of this without having a comfortable amount of money in the bank. I have faced losing everything that meant anything to me, and yet, as a result, have found a resiliency, a boldness, a voice, and a courage I never knew existed within me. I have learned that no one needs an explanation, and I no longer have to defend my choices. I have learned that majority of the people and things that make up the rules of the culturescape go away really fast when you escape that template. I now have a perception and experience of life that majority of humans will never have. I have become unfuckwithable about life. Number 10, embrace your quest. Vishen has said before that people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 3 years. I can honestly say that if you would have told me a year ago that within this year I would survive the heartache of letting my kids go to make their own choices, when the culturescape says they shouldn't do that until they're 18 and they graduate, or that I would live in 2 foreign countries, one being Ukraine, and that I would be so unfuckwithable, I wouldn't have believed it. I actually underestimated what I could do in a year. So that makes me wonder, if I can overestimate what I could do in a year, the possibilities are infinite with what I can do in 3 years. With what I have given up and survived in this past year and throughout this transformation, I feel a burning within like I have never had to make it all worth it. Over the past 12 years, I have learned to transform again and again. I have learned that taking risks and letting go of what I know always delivers an expression of life I couldn't have imagined prior. I live the principles of the code of the extraordinary mind. Professionally, I have managed hundreds of people and millions of dollars in business in corporate America, organized and managed events, and interviewed and worked with notable authors like Panache Desai, designed and facilitated learning journeys for years, and have spoken on stages in front of hundreds of people. I can say with all the humbleness in the world that you want me on your team, Mindvalley. I am the kind of person I would always look for when hiring for teams. I'm prompt, reliable, creative, a critical thinker, empathetic, intelligent, and a quick learner. And don't forget, I'm kind of fun. If I don't know how to do something, I'll learn it. I have been a longtime subscriber, customer, and A-Fest participant with Mindvalley. The bells are perfect. It's kind of like the universe saying, oh. Lastly, I completely understand Mindvalley's culture. I live it, I breathe it, I am it. Like any good marketer knows, I'm going to leave you with a good call to action. Mindvalley, I'm inviting you to a conversation. Use the email address in my not-so-traditional resume, and let's schedule a time to chat. I believe that you will find that once we get together, you will find that we are fully aligned for me to step into the role of the next Mindvalley's Learning Experience Director. Thanks for having me here, and I look forward to making my way to Estonia. Mwah!